Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. Now, this video is going to be a little bit of an interesting one on over here, so I guess maybe go based by the title and clickbait or all that type of good stuff. We're not myself going to go be saying that the PlayStation 5 sucks, is bad, or whatever, but there's actually been this article going on from Input Mag over here that's essentially just massively ripping on the PlayStation 5 console and just kind of giving their overall thoughts and opinions on that. Now, for me as an online producer, whatever you guys want to go and call me, I'm always okay if people have like different opinions or stuff like that. That's how the world works, that's how the internet works and all of that. But this one is a little bit of an interesting one, so I kind of want to go give my thoughts and my feedback on it, especially for me because I've been trying to help people get their consoles for the past probably about year now or so. You guys can clearly go and see I have my PlayStation 5 and also a messy bedroom too as well. And on top of that too, just sometimes these words are just they go a little bit too far, sometimes in the sake of views, sometimes the way for, just to get clicks, but you know what? Sometimes it's also interesting for me to go and kind of throw my opinions out there and also see what you guys out there also think too as well. So we have a little interesting thing to go and talk about here, and hopefully all of you guys are having a fantastic Sunday as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway going on. In case you guys don't think it sucks, make sure you guys are subscribed for that. As well, we have the Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100, you guys go get free stock and free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency, you guys go and get free Bitcoin. Those are always linked down below, and definitely leave a like, comment, and all your thoughts down below as I go dive in the video itself. So, as I mentioned, we have an article over here that's essentially just ripping on the PlayStation 5, the entire article. So I'm gonna kind of give you guys my thoughts, my kind of counterpoints as well, and kind of talk about over here. This is from Input Mag itself. Basically, start off this with the PlayStation 5 sucks. Actually, so basically they're kind of intro over here. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading / also kind of chime in quite a bit. And if you guys want to, just throughout the video, leave some comments down below. It's been 274 days since the launch of the PlayStation 5. It's the most powerful PlayStation ever made. It's broken records, it has ray tracing technology, it can even display 8K content, has been the greatest controller ever made. Demand is so high that you can't even buy one, but it kind of sucks. So it's kind of funny off that to even start off on this because literally that's just a pretty good list. And overall, I've had my PlayStation for quite some time. Console-wise, as a general whole, it's been a fantastic console. Controller, amazing. Console, amazing. The only major thing, and I think that kind of goes the same thing with Xbox as well, is we just need more games. But thankfully, we're kind of working on that. And as the console's life cycle keeps on going more and more and more, or even things like Ghost of Tsushima, Iki Island, Kenna as well, all coming out these next few weeks, and also Deathloop 2. Guess what? A few even more weeks, there's even more games out there, which is kind of the major big counterpoint for a lot of PlayStation 5 things. So, when they first reviewed the PlayStation 5, it wasn't clear this was going to be in the case. They didn't really think it was going to be like amazing. They said the console seemed beefy, innovative, eye-catching, and extravagant. We were excited about ray tracing. We were and still are obsessed with the DualSense controller. We are eagerly anticipating the chance to expand its storage with our own non-proprietary NVMe SSD. And we also stare at the giant, ugly, easily damaged units sitting underneath our TVs. Perhaps we've got underneath. Okay, so first of all, you guys can already go and tell this person's going. They're dropping F-bombs. They're going all over the place. So when it comes to this stuff, funny enough, like they kind of contradicted themselves a little bit over here because they said it was like an eye-catching console, and then right afterwards they called it ugly. Like, so number one, number two, got to go make up your mind on that one, buddy. So when it comes to this, I thought the console still looks a bit on the weirder side, no matter what. I mean, whatever, that's fine. But don't forget, I don't care really how my console looks. I think it doesn't look that bad as a console. I kind of prefer the Xbox, how it looks. It seems a little bit more like it can flow more into an actual gaming setup. But for me, like, I have everything. I got my Switch, I got my PS5, I got my PC, whatever. As well, also when it comes to the non-proprietary SSD, you can go and use other different types of SSDs. We've had many different other companies go and confirm it. They're just not 100% officially confirmed as of now, but quite a few of those other different types of places, heatsink or not, you can go and use other different types of SSDs mixed on in. Now, granted, of course, you have to have that specific type of working one that basically Sony demands and all that. But at the same time, with the beta options, there's a lot more custom SSDs coming out there that are going to be easily available and also priced quite well. And I'm sure as time goes on too, more competition, more people trying to go put out into it. Overall, it is going to be a lot more good options out there for that. DualSense controller, absolutely still amazing and probably one of the best features on top of that. And ray tracing, you can't necessarily be that excited on that because it's also been kind of older technology when it comes to the PC as well. And on top of that too, you still have to kind of worry about people still developing on the PS4 and PS5. So if they want to go and critique that, maybe kind of keep out the idea of it still being on the last gen and going from there, because that's kind of one of my big critiques, that some of these games, God of War, Horizon, etc., are still available on the PS4. I don't mind it. market. There's a very big player base for the PlayStation 4 itself, but when it comes to all this stuff, it does sometimes hold back the overall technology. So you want to critique that, sure, but even first of all, that first paragraph, you're like, oh. In the beta for its 2.0 firmware, Sony has just enabled SSD expansion for players lucky enough to get their hands on the PlayStation 5. Now, it is still very hard. I know a lot of you guys that are subscribed to me out here are actually, well, trying to still get your consoles. So I can respect that. That's a very big critique. But at the same time, as of now, the PlayStation's also sold about twice as many Xboxes. Now, that is like the biggest competition ever, but if you're going to be critiquing that on there, trying to call it lucky and such like that, it is hard, but with all the pandemic and stuff, they kind of get a little bit of an easy slide. It's a shame then that the process of installing a compatible ultra-fast M.2 NVMe is too hard for most people to actually accomplish. Not really. No, I think a lot of people are saying it maybe takes like 2 minutes. I've installed and built computers as well. It's not that hard. And I think a lot of people who have actually tried, watch a YouTube video on it, or even look at an overall tutorial, it's not that hard. So I'm not really sure where this article is even getting this. It almost kind of seems like they're just kind of like they didn't really do any research on this or even try themselves. Not to mention the exorbitant cost of additional SSD storage, which lands in the same neighborhood of Xbox's 220 expansion card, which once again is easier to install. Which once again, like the weird competition on it, it takes like, you could probably do it under for 5 minutes on both of those without any prior experience. So I'm just not, like, this is the person who just made this article, maybe a little bit dumb. I'm not, have they just never tried it themselves? It's kind of just a weird, like, it's almost the click point to the point where it's just not research and it's kind of dumb. It is an opinion piece too, but it's just dumb. And as well, of course, don't forget we also have the supply chain issues as well, and also the actual production of this stuff. SSDs are usually higher end technology in comparison to normal hard drives. And on top of that too, is more competition is going to be coming on out because these are going to be very high in demand as the beta is happening as well as time goes on. It's just normal supply and demand. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And some of them actually are also going on sale too. We even saw some very good SSDs on sale for at least $140 as well. Plus, we also just literally delete games if you want to in your PS5. Not a big deal. So basically, the PlayStation 5 is establishing something of a pattern with this kind of user experience. We get excited about a feature on paper. The fandom imagines all the exciting things it will enable, and then we wait only to be delivered a confusing product that seems intentionally designed to frustrate us. Meanwhile, over on Xbox, the same feature set is integrating the system effortlessly. I mean, you can always maybe try to go in, like, overall, once again, like, it's not that hard to put an SSD into your actual console. If you try to put in a PC too as well, you could probably bought that, like, once again, in under 5 minutes with never doing it before. If you know what you're doing, it probably takes maybe under 2 minutes, if that. I just feel like this person who's making this article, just not to be too rude, like, no hate on the person, of course, you just seem dumb. You just seem dumb. Or maybe just try to get outrage clicks. If any of that works out for me, I put some ads in my video, works out either way. But basically, on the topic of customization, Sony's console also supports swappable faceplates, a feature that would take some of the sting out of the console's controversial design. It's not that bad. It's a game console. Like, I mean, I've seen, it's not, you care about the games, you don't really care about the consoles. Look, too much. At the moment of writing, there are none on offer from Sony, who has also sued third-party manufacturers for reducing their own faceplates. Presumably so that the company can release exclusive themed consoles whenever sales of the platform start to sag. Once again, this person is very, very clearly favored on the Xbox side, but you want to go and try to go and throw a jab. I mean, I personally don't really care that much at all. I'm also mostly a PC gamer myself. But when it comes to this stuff, it's like, you do realize the Xbox itself is literally underselling this, and they're clearly favoring towards the Xbox market and Xbox demographic. It's just dumb. It's just very, very just like sensationalized. It's really just annoying. Which raises the question, why design a unit with swappable faceplates if you don't want anyone to, use the feature? And is Sony just encouraging us to learn how to use paint? Well, actually, funny enough, I actually seen some really cool people customize their consoles. We even made a video on that on TikTok a few days ago. But at the same time, too, I am okay with Sony prioritizing literally making the consoles, getting the semiconductors, and fine-tuning the consoles, as we've seen with the PS5 Digital redesign, then, trying to mess around with faceplates. Faceplates are very nice bonus things, 100% for sure, but at the same time, there's a lot of people out there who just need the consoles, and I'd rather them be spending and prioritizing their time on making the consoles than anything else. This isn't the worst part about the console's design, however. The glossy black middle of the console attracts a mind-bending amount of dust. It is also so prone to scratching that players have taken to using sandpaper to scratch it themselves in a way that looks more attractive than random damage on the consoles. Like, do I just have to go, like, full cam and literally just go and show you guys my actual, like, PS5 itself? Like, it's not that bad. You can maybe have a few fingerprints or whatever, but, like, look at the actual console itself. There is, like, basically nothing wrong with this big boy at all. Like, I truly don't get what they even, like, are trying to go critique on this in any capacity. It's like, I just feel like they're trying to go and just get the rage click articles, which is, in my opinion, just very embarrassing journalism, in my honest opinion at all. This isn't the worst part of this too, as well, as I mentioned for this. Basically, I have also never seen anyone really use sandpaper to scratch their consoles themselves. in general. So, and while the virtual design is less than ideal, the actual engineering of the machine is also confusing. When the console is standing vertically, which thanks to Sony's decision to make it so large is more often than not, you can let it go either way. Just do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want to do. Which thanks to Sony's decision to make it so large is more often than not. Why do disc enter the console facing away from the bulk of the hardware? Even if cover in was the orientation we were used to inserting disc, this is like the exact opposite of what we had to do with the PS4. It seems like poor decision making the disk drive. I will go give them a little bit of credit on that one. Like the first few times I try to go put in my disk, it's kind of weird. Because if you guys, at least from my experience, if you try to flip it and do the opposite direction, it doesn't actually read the disk at all and doesn't really kind of give you a notification for that. Like this article is definitely clearly biased and definitely favoring towards Xbox, but I'll give it a little bit of credit. I think the I get it. I totally get it. And the games themselves have tutored their support for ray tracing, which is a processing-intensive feature that creates for much more realistic lighting in a game than traditional methods. Thus far, it's been very pretty, but ultimately negligible in addition to the amount of hype that Sony was promising. But once again, is this just bad research by the article itself? Ray tracing has been a thing for many years, especially on PC gaming. You know what to expect. It's also the games themselves have to utilize, and it's also more so on the devs themselves. And as well, there's only been a few PS5 games that are pure PS5 games, like Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, so you can't really judge it too much. In general, the games run faster, more smoothly with it turned off. That's also the biggest duh ever. That's like turning something from like 4K to 1080p. Obviously, like less textures, less frames is going to be running a little bit better. Is this person who's never heard of a computer before? Because of this, an increased number of players are turning off this feature as a matter of course, because it just depends on playstyle. Some people want to go play on 4K 30 FPS on their TV and enjoy themselves. Some people like me want to maybe play at 1080 and like a solid or quicker FPS. Just depends on preference, and I think preference is nice to go and have. Like this person who made this article is an idiot. And speaking of these PS5 games, while we love Demon's Souls, Astro's Playroom, and the stunning Ratchet and Clank, Sony has yet to produce a must-have experience exclusively for its next-gen behemoth. Which, once again, I don't like these console wars, but what has Xbox done? This person, I'm always saying this because this person in the article mentioned that, and they're trying to go and, hype up Xbox. Xbox hasn't really necessarily done anything in terms of exclusives so far. Now, of course, they have Game Pass, which is amazing, and they also do have a very nice, overall console and other games on the way, such as Forza and, Halo. But at the same time, both these major consoles are having major pandemic issues and stuff like that, which is fine. It happens. And we'll definitely have a lot more games into the next year or so if you guys want to wait for your consoles until then. But this is just such a clearly article. It's just such a biased article. It's just to the point where it's dumb. It almost seems like they're just stretching the truth so far, which is not a good actually opinion piece at all. So the vast majority of the games are cross-platform, something we usually celebrate if it weren't for Sony's decision to forego anything resembling Microsoft's smart delivery system. Which, once again, that is a little bit of a somewhat good critique on that, because you could actually have true crossplay, because Sony's definitely been a little bit of the, yeah, we don't really want to have Fortnite, Rocket League, crossplay, we can have our own system, it's fine. I can definitely understand and critique that for the gaming good of everywhere, but once again, kind of pushing them too hard. Over on Xbox, all the games are normally upgraded to next-gen versions, which once again, very, very good, but it's also pretty much the same thing for the PS4 to PS5, where a lot of the game version upgrades are pretty much free, and or if they're not free, there's usually big actual improvements that are worth paying for it. Think of Ghost of Tsushima. Meaning that without any effort on their part, every user will always be given the best experience of a given game available at the time, combined with its fancy new FPS boost mode, which improves the look and feel of legacy titles from the OG Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One eras. It makes for a seamless way to play your games, even more seamless, playing Game Pass and xCloud, include as well, whichever require updates or downloads. I don't know about updates or downloads, that just also seems kind of like a dumb comment overall. Everything you guys are kind of seeing of this one too, it's to the point where it's just dumb. It's just... I don't know, boys. I don't know. It just kind of seems like they're kind of judged over here too as well. There's some critiques they were kind of seeing for this one, such as the PlayStation Plus, which I definitely do agree, but they also are trying to go and improve that better with Crunchyroll and Funimation subscriptions, movie services, TV shows as well. And on top of that too, we also are kind of seeing more other better deals, but the main selling point that anyone with a brain would know is that the PS5 is more so focused on good single-player experiences, which you could also critique a little bit more on the expensive side for $70, which is sometimes hard to justify on that one. But as well, that's what they're known for. And then Xbox is more so for the utility, the PC combinations, and the Game Pass as well. So just anyone with a brain knows all this type of stuff too, or it just kind of seems like they keep on trying to harp on other different types of things too as well. And trying to go through things for PS Now, which once again, they could critique, and I'm not a big fanboy on either side. PS Now could be a little bit more on the better side too. I'll be honest with you guys on that one too as well. But I don't know, boys. I don't know. You guys can kind of go and see all these kind of overall thoughts, where it kind of just seems like it's time and time again, they kind of just go to find these really kind of very, very small, Like little small details that kind of just don't really matter. And when it comes to this stuff too, at the end of the day, I think the only thing that really kind of matters for all this type of stuff, instead of going through this entire article and kind of doing these really small fine tunes, is you play and use what you guys enjoy. You guys go and play and have whatever you guys want, or ideally go and get both. It's not like the end of the world to want to enjoy either one of these consoles. And there is a few critiques that the PlayStation 5 can kind of go and have in comparison to the Xbox. But just in general, you play what your friends are on, you play whatever games you want. If you want Game Pass, get Game Pass. You want some cool PS5 exclusives, get that. And people that are this hypercritical will never be happy in any game they play, anything they go and do. So at the end of the day, all you guys have to go and do is just enjoy yourselves and play what you guys want to play, or maybe even wait a few years for more games to come on out, because a lot of people that waited for the PS4, the PS5 games, basically have a really good time because they have a lot of really good blockbuster games to play, and even a better system on the PS5. So a lot of stuff, kind of a weird article itself, but give me your thoughts and comments down below. There's definitely faults on both consoles, but at the end of the day, just enjoy yourself and play games. It doesn't have to be a competition or anything like this. Like, this is just almost embarrassing to go and read and see people talk about. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching, hanging out, chilling, and all that good stuff. And I'll appreciate you guys all for the next videos later on today.